Greetings, comrades. Holders of the Zimbabwe exemption permits have been struggling in the last few days to apply for waivers and to move to other visas. The system did not provide them with appointment dates, but we are informed that dates are now available. So if you have been struggling to apply for a waiver or struggling to apply for a general work visa, the dates are back in the system. So please utilize this chance and apply to move to other visas. And we also stress that waivers that have been applied for holders of the Zimbabwe exemption permits are only for holders of ZEP. Of course, there are others that are applying, but we've been explaining this, that they are only for those that are holders of ZEP. And of course, if you do not hold the critical skills, you are already in South Africa, your chances are very high that you will not qualify for a visa. There are other people that are asking us about the process of applying for a visa. When we ask them about their qualifications, you then realize that they will not qualify. So that is the situation. But of course, some of you keep on asking us about what happened. The coalition government or the government of national unity as announced by the ANC, and of course the election of President Cyril Ramaphosa for his second term, what this means, the relationship with the Democratic Alliance, where a member of the Democratic Alliance became the deputy speaker in the National Assembly. We will, at some later stage, possibly in our political education, talk about the liberation movement, post-liberation. But on this question, the ANC, we do not speak for the ANC. We need to underline this. We do not speak for the ANC. We have said we are drawing lessons. We discussed the options that the ANC had in terms of forming government because it did not win 50% plus 140. Then it circled to what is now happening. When we're having a discussion with some comrades, we're saying while the Democratic Alliance, the ANC, and the other coalition or partners or GNU partners are different ideologically, you will not expect that they will come together. But we are reminded of the national question in South Africa. What is the national question? We have said that when Stalin was discussing the national question, he said it is made up of two components, the question of belonging and the class question. So this question of belonging is who is a South African. So in that context, the Democratic Alliance become a South African political party. Never mind its ideology, which we'll unpack some other day. But it's a South African political party. The African National Congress now speaks of a National Democratic Society. So if indeed the Democratic Alliance is a South African party, as per the definition of the national question in terms of who belongs to South Africa, and the South Africans voted for the Democratic Alliance for it to get about 21% of the vote, it means therefore that the Democratic Alliance has a right, like any other South African political party, to participate in the legislature, as it has been doing, and also to participate in government. It's a controversial thing. It's controversial. And I'm avoiding to answer this ideologically, but to answer drawing from the national question to say, and in the context of what the ANC calls National Democratic Society, because every South African has a right to participate, to express themselves. But the question still remains in this concept of a National Democratic Society, whether is the economy itself democratic and allows every South African to participate, because it cannot be about participating in the electoral process without participating in the mainstream economy. And we have been discussing also in the context of Zimbabwe that since 2000 in Zimbabwe, if you look into our industries, they are now places of worship. Tomorrow it's a Sunday. People will be going to churches in industrial areas where we used to have our industries are now places of worship. There's no longer production in our industry. For the last 2 decades or so, we have collapsed our industries. And how do we then re-industrialize? There are some, which of course we differ with them. There are some that you need wise to come back to re-industrialize. We hold a different view from that, but that's what others believe in. So it's a question that needs a proper proper engagement, which ourselves, we talk of the national democratic economy. We talk of massive industrialization. And we have said in the context of SADC, you need to industrialize our SADC member states so that migration does not become one way to South Africa, as is now the case. It should actually spread around the region, because every member state will be highly industrialized. People will not be crossing borders to look for employment. But these are interesting times in South Africa. And as we said, that Zimbabweans are following closely the political developments in South Africa. We're yet to see how cabinet is going to be constituted. Maybe we'll then do an analysis, because it will be now clearer in terms of the composition of government and which ministries are going to be run by the Democratic Alliance. Please write in the comment section, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on TikTok, please do follow us. Otherwise, Amandla, comrades.